Alright, good news and bad news. The bad news is we have to do a Royal Rumble match for the Stephanie Vaquer live event, but the good news is that it's only 10 superstars long, so that's not too bad. And they were generous enough to give you a full signature restoration upon an elimination, so we're going to take advantage of this. Right away, when you're facing Zelina Vega, do as much damage as you can until you get to the 10 count for the next entrant. Why do you want to do that? Well, because it increases the likelihood that you'll be able to successfully throw her over the top rope on the first attempt with an Irish whip, which is key in the early going here. You see, we're going to try to rinse and repeat as often as we can, throwing a superstar over the top, getting a signature, hitting it on the next entrant, throwing them over the top, and you kind of get my point, because after you use a signature, you get a finisher, and that's good for instant eliminations. So boom, sometimes you get lucky like that. Zelina Vega gone, we didn't have to use a signature or a finisher, just in time for Kalani Jordan to enter the ring and eat defeat. After that, she's primed to get tossed over the top rope, where you will have time to hit a finisher on her. And then, on to the next one. See what I mean? We want to kind of rinse and repeat this cycle as often as we can. Also, if you have time waiting for the next entrant, feel free to get your crowd and opponent taunts in. Stephanie's taunts actually take a long time, so you're better off doing it with as little other superstars in the ring as possible to make sure you get those off. Once Maxine Dupree comes down to the ring, more of the same. Instantly, you're going to want to hit her with that eat defeat and try to throw her over the top rope too. Now, this is the high difficulty here, right? So you're likely to get countered, in which case you need to be ready to time a running strike to knock you over the apron. Luckily, they usually always wind up beforehand, so you will have time. And look at this. Sometimes the game is finicky. You Irish whip them, they just run in place, things like that. Boom, there goes Maxine Dupree. When you hit someone with a signature, especially on the lower overalls, like the first 4 entrants are, they're more susceptible to getting eliminated. A lot of times, if you throw somebody over the top rope when they're still fresh, you'll go to knock them off when they're just clinging, and you'll immediately get countered. So that's why it's important to do as much damage to their health bar as possible. Ideally, you don't want any green. But, once we get into the higher overall superstars, that's just not feasible. At least not initially. See, that little animation right there, that's no good. You're not able to use a finisher when they're clinging onto the ropes for dear life like that. So try not to strong Irish whip by the ropes. If you just do a light Irish whip close to the ropes, I find that they don't cling onto the ropes like that. And then boom, she gets right back in the ring, just no selling, and I have no chance to hit a finisher. You see me hitting a finisher on Nia Jax here, that's because you can't do anything with her while she has that purple armor barrier over her health bar. All you can do is light strikes and finishers and signatures, so it's key to get that to diminish ASAP so that you're able to handle her. She's probably the biggest threat in this match, her and then Rhea Ripley, just because she's the best card, I believe, who comes in last here. So Nia Jax definitely has a big target, but you see, there's no 2 minutes between entrants like a real Royal Rumble. These guys are coming out fast and furious, so you're gonna have to deal with the full ring at some point here, unless you're just like getting very lucky at the AI not countering any of your Irish whips or finishers, which, as you can see here, I did not get that fortunate. But don't panic if you find yourself in this situation. If you get knocked down, there's no rush to get back up. A lot of times your superstar will get knocked down and then roll over to underneath the bottom ring rope, and you can just you don't have to button mash. There's no rush to get back up. They'll get up by themselves eventually, but there's no big hurry, because if you're not on your feet, you can't get tossed over the top rope, so you're safe when you're on the ground. It's important also to make note of your resiliency comeback, that is just the instant recovery. If you have finishers stored, feel free to use that, because using your finisher to eliminate somebody will fully replenish your signature bar. So you might as well use your comeback to instant recovery if you're able to. But I do want to talk about one of the most frustrating aspects of having the ring filled up with other superstars, and that is they don't really seem that interested in other superstars getting eliminated. As in, you'll have somebody tossed over the top rope and ready to finish them off, and they'll interrupt you and start beating your butt, which kind of sucks. But, it's supposed to be every man for himself. I don't know what the logic is behind attacking you when you're trying to get the AI out. It certainly feels like they're all ganging up on you. It feels like you're the one with the target painted on your back. It just is what it is, so be patient. But I've found that when I have a superstar on the apron and I want to go hit my finisher to eliminate them several times in this match, the AI will interrupt me. See, I got Roxanne Perez thrown outside there. Natty's like, I'm throwing you out. So that's kind of frustrating, but just hang tight in the pocket. Now we got Natty on the apron, but she doesn't give us ample time to hit the finisher, so more damage is going to need to be dealt. And like I said earlier in the video, when you get into the later entrants here, 8, 9, and 10 especially, it's not going to be as easy as it was for Zelina Vega through Max Dupree. You know, we were able to eliminate them very quickly, and the same is just not possible here. But you can get lucky in the initial strategy I was showing you, where you hit a signature on the next entrant, toss them over, hit a finisher. It is possible that you can go through the entire match like that. And if you can, then obviously that's the fastest way to accomplish this live event challenge. But it's just, you know, I've tried several times to get a clean run doing that, and I just wasn't able to. So whenever somebody gets stunned, that means they're going to be defenseless for being tossed over the top rope. So I throw Roxanne Perez onto the apron. Bayley doesn't like that for some reason, but I'm able to counter her because this being a Royal Rumble match, it's helpful to be just aware that you're constantly going to get Irish whipped or dragged. So if you find yourself getting grabbed, just spam circle on the PlayStation or B on the Xbox. Worst case scenario, they're not Irish whipping you, they're hitting you with like a strong grapple attack and whatever, you know, you can take some bumps in this match. As long as they're not throwing you over the apron, you're safe. So why not just brace yourself for the whip to the outside of the ring? That's all I'm saying here. Other than that, we're down to the last 3. Rhea Ripley is the biggest threat because she's the highest overall. And if she counters one of your Irish whips, she can just toss you out over the top rope. No mini game, no clinging onto the rope. You'll just straight up fly out of the ring. So you need to be very cautious. As a matter of fact, I don't recommend trying to Irish whip Rhea Ripley towards the ropes at all. Just for that very reason. You don't want to get countered and eliminated. So stunning her first is priority. You see, she gets the first elimination that wasn't done by us, I believe, and now she's going to taunt a little bit while we recover, which is fine. We have a signature and a finisher stored, and it's likely going to take both of those to stun her. So I'm going to attack her here, give her an eat defeat, and then a finisher, and hopefully that'll fill up her stun meter, where she will be primed for elimination. Hitting that signature was huge because if she happens to counter the first finisher here, we have another one in the gas tank, and it looks like we're going to hit it cleanly. She's stunned. This match is over. I do have some drift on my controller, though, which sucks, so occasionally when I want to throw somebody over the ring apron, I'll instead throw them into the turnbuckle, which is pretty frustrating. Shout out to all you guys with drifty joysticks out there, but yeah, that's it, guys. Feel free to implement the first strategy, and if all hell breaks loose like you saw in this video, just make sure you're prepared to counter those Irish whips, hang tight. Whenever somebody's stunned, that's when they're primed to get thrown over the top rope. Be safe out there, guys, and happy hunting. Until next time, be well and take care. Peace.